What's the first thing that comes to your mind when someone mentions Dubai wealth? Probably the royal money and the insanely rich oil tycoons, right? But here's the wild part. Some of the wealthiest families quietly building serious empires here are Filipinos who landed with regular jobs, regular visas, and zero guarantees. Sit tight as we embark on this crazy countdown of the 10 richest Filipino families in Dubai. And trust me, the family at number 1 is going to blow your mind. Number 10. Ramos family. Ryan and Joanna Ramos. If you've lived in Dubai long enough, you'll notice a pattern. The people who last aren't always the loudest. Ryan and Joanna Ramos fall squarely into that category. They moved to the UAE back in 2005, not with some grand plan to dominate industries, but with corporate jobs and a long-term mindset. And everything they built later came from understanding how Dubai actually works on the ground. What makes their story interesting isn't just one successful business. It's the fact that they deliberately spread their bets. Landscaping through Cultivate Landscape and Gardening Works, automotive services via Craft Auto Services, creative fabrication under the Dream Lab, and even community-focused productions through TFC Events Management. 4 different licenses, 4 different cash streams, all operating inside the same city. And here's where things quietly get smart. Service businesses in Dubai can be fragile if you rely on just one sector. Construction slows, cars slow. Events pause, landscaping still runs. That diversification acts like a shock absorber. And Ryan, who serves as managing director across the group, reportedly reinforced that stability with early investments in warehouse and logistics real estate, the unsexy kind of property that just keeps paying. Joanna's role adds a different layer. As the self-described chief heart officer, she focuses on people, culture, and community, which sounds fluffy until you realize she also founded the thriving Filipina Circle, a real support network that feeds directly into trust, referrals, and long-term brand loyalty. In Dubai, that kind of social capital converts into business faster than ads ever will. Now, these aren't billion-dirham empires. Private service firms rarely are. But conservative estimates place their combined ventures in the low tens of millions of dirhams, built steadily, legally, and quietly. And if you're wondering whether this kind of slow, diversified approach really scales in Dubai, the next family story takes a very different route, and it starts with a visit visa and a mop. Number 9. The Prado-Quinto family, MPQ Travel and Tourism. Malu Prado-Quinto's story is one of those Dubai narratives that almost sounds exaggerated, until you realize how many people have watched it happen in real time. She arrived from Cavite on a visit visa and took whatever work she could get. Cleaning jobs, visa assistance, odd tasks. Nothing glamorous, nothing guaranteed. Then she noticed something most people ignore. Filipinos in the UAE weren't just traveling. They were stuck in paperwork hell. Visas, transit rules, embassy requirements, last-minute rejections. So, instead of selling dreams, she sold clarity. In 2013, MPQ Travel and Tourism was officially born. Fast forward, and MPQ isn't just a small agency tucked away in Satwa. It operates from a physical office inside Manila Mall, employs an estimated 10 to 50 staff, and specializes in complicated outbound visas for Europe, the US, and Canada, the kind that people are willing to pay good money to get right the first time. But here's the real turning point. During the pandemic, when travel agencies were collapsing overnight, Malu temporarily shut down, restructured, and rebuilt instead of clinging to sunk costs. That decision saved the business. Today, MPQ runs 3 branches in Dubai, has a presence in the United States, and operates back in the Philippines as well. The awards didn't hurt either. Middle East Excellence, the Filipino Times, and even the Model OFW Family of the Year Award from OWWA. Not just trophies, but trust signals in a crowded market. Now, are travel agencies asset-heavy? No. Their power is in volume, reputation, and systems. Industry logic puts MPQ's annual revenues in the mid to high 7 figures AED, sustained by corporate contracts, visa commissions, and repeat clientele. And just when you think this list is all about individual hustle stories, the next entry flips the script. because it's not one business or even one industry. It's a full-on Filipino services ecosystem. Number 8, the Castro family, Pinas Group. At number 8 sits a family that didn't try to dominate one sector. They went wide, very wide. Under the Pinas Group umbrella, the Castro family built a cluster of UAE-registered businesses that quietly tap into everyday needs of Dubai's massive expatriate population. Cleaning and facility services, travel assistance, floral and events, even retail and gold trading. On paper, these look unrelated. In practice, they're strategically connected. A customer who books an event might need decor. Someone visiting a salon asks about travel. A cleaning contract leads to corporate referrals. This is how small to mid-sized conglomerates actually form in Dubai. There's no flashy global branding here. The strength is local. The Pinas identity positions the group as familiar, trusted, and community first. A big deal in a city where expats rely heavily on word of mouth. Based on typical UAE licensing structures and similar groups, the Pinas ecosystem likely runs multiple trade licenses and employs somewhere between 50 and 150 staff across mobile services, shops, and offices. Financially, this kind of setup can generate mid-8-figure AED revenues without owning a single skyscraper. The downside? No land assets means less long-term leverage. The upside? Cash flow, flexibility, and resilience when one sector slows down. And here's the subtle genius. By staying service-focused, the group stays close to the community's pulse. Needs change, licenses shift, and the portfolio adapts. That's not accidental. That's survival strategy in Dubai. But if you think diversification across services is impressive, the next rank introduces a family whose business footprint starts moving into a completely different weight class, quietly outgrowing the service economy. Number 7. Edwin Caballero Duria, Duria family. There are people who build wealth by owning things. Edwin Duria built his by knowing things. And more importantly, by knowing people. If you've ever tried setting up a business in Dubai, you already know the maze: licenses, compliance, sponsors, approvals, and a dozen ways to get it wrong. Edwin positioned himself right at the center of that maze. He's the managing director of Play Middle East business consultancy FZE, a firm that has helped 250-plus companies get established and scale inside the UAE. That's not just paperwork, that's strategy. License structuring, market entry advice, visa planning, and long-term compliance. The stuff that determines whether a business survives year one or quietly disappears. But here's where things take a different turn. Edwin isn't just a consultant. He's also the chairman of the Philippine Business Council, Dubai and Northern Emirates, an organization affiliated with the Dubai Chamber that's been around for over 2 decades. In plain terms, that makes him one of the most connected Filipinos in the UAE business ecosystem. New entrepreneurs don't just Google their way into Dubai, they get introduced. And Edwin is often the introducer. Add to that his role as director consultant at BNI New Dubai, part of the world's largest business referral network. He's been recognized as Director Consultant of the Year and was inducted into the BNI Global Hall of Fame in 2023, which is basically the business networking equivalent of a Lifetime Achievement Award. And here's the interesting part. His wealth doesn't come from one massive payout. It comes from stacked advantages. Consultancy fees from hundreds of clients, long-term retainers, strategic equity arrangements, referral pipelines that keep feeding new opportunities, and a network premium that quietly compounds over time. He proved that in Dubai, being the guy who helps others take off is often more profitable than flying solo. But still, influence has its limits. So the next rank shifts gears, from network power to hands-on ownership in industries where cash flow doesn't wait for introductions. Number 6. Fernando Sarmiento, Sarmiento family. Fernando Sarmiento's approach to wealth is refreshingly straightforward. Own businesses that people have to use, make sure they operate well, and don't put all your chips on one table. He's been in Dubai since 2005, started in corporate sales and business development, and eventually made the jump that a lot of people think about but never actually do. Today, he owns or co-owns 3 UAE-licensed companies, each serving a completely different demand cycle. First, there's Luxurian FF Auto Service Center, which sits comfortably in Dubai's luxury car ecosystem. This isn't oil changes and tire rotations. This is high-end vehicle servicing, where the average customer drives something German, Italian, or aggressively expensive. In Dubai, that translates into higher margins per job and a customer base that doesn't disappear during minor downturns. Then there's Human Endeavors, a consultancy offering business law support, compliance navigation, and project advisory. These services are sticky. Once a company finds a consultant who understands UAE regulations, they don't shop around. That means recurring retainers and long-term client relationships. And finally, Red Scorpion Pest Control. Not flashy, but incredibly smart. Pest control in Dubai is a repeat business by design. Residential contracts, commercial contracts, scheduled visits. Predictable revenue, low drama, high necessity. Here's where the strategy clicks. Automotive brings high-margin wins. Consulting brings professional credibility and steady retainers. Pest control brings reliable, recurring cash flow. Together, these businesses likely sit in the mid-multi-million AED valuation range, especially when you apply standard UAE service sector multiples. But if you think this is where serious money starts showing up, the next rank introduces a sector where a single deal can be worth more than a year of service revenue. Number 5. Anthony Gerard Leuterio, Leuterio family. Let's be clear. Real estate is a different animal. You can do everything right in services and still need years to scale. In property, one transaction can change the year, or your life. Anthony Gerard Leuterio understood that early. He's the founder and CEO of Filipino Homes, the largest real estate marketing network in the Philippines with over 100 offices nationwide. But the real shift happened in January 2025, when Filipino Homes officially planted its flag in Dubai with a licensed brokerage office at Riga Business Center. This wasn't a soft launch or a referral desk. Leuterio secured full property broker licensing, which means his company can legally broker Dubai real estate deals, earn direct commissions, and represent both developers and buyers. That distinction matters. Referral agents earn scraps. Licensed brokers eat the full meal. Through FHI Global Properties, his Dubai arm now facilitates residential and investment property transactions in one of the fastest-moving markets in the region. Dubai properties routinely sell in the multi-million dirham range, and commission structures here can quietly stack up very fast. But here's the clever part. The Dubai office also acts as a global showroom. Philippine developers pitch projects to overseas Filipinos. UAE-based investors explore opportunities back home. Property expos, daily presentations, curated partnerships. Dubai becomes the connector, not just the market. Leuterio's wealth logic is simple but powerful. High-margin commissions, global deal flow, and optional upside through equity arrangements with developers and co-broker networks. And now, we're entering the top 4 category, where Filipino family wealth in Dubai takes a whole new shift. Number 4. The Segalowitz family, Jenny Segalowitz. If you've ever eaten Korean BBQ in Dubai or Abu Dhabi and noticed the place was packed, loud, and weirdly joyful, there's a solid chance you've brushed past Jenny Segalowitz's world without realizing it. And that's wild when you think about where she started. Jenny landed in the UAE back in 2003, working entry-level hospitality jobs for around 1,000 dirhams a month. Not glamorous, long hours, lots of swallowing pride. The kind of work where you learn every corner of a restaurant because you've worked every corner of a restaurant. And it turns out that experience became her secret weapon. Fast forward a couple of decades, and Jenny is now the founder and CEO of mukbang shows Korean BBQ and Seafood, one of the UAE's fastest-growing Korean dining brands. This isn't a one-branch passion project. Mukbang Shows has multiple locations across Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and the expansion plan reads like a flex. Duria, covered. Abu Dhabi hotspots like Mura Road and Electra Street, done. And then the big moves. a flagship branch at Dubai World Trade Center, and a massive outlet at JBR, two of the most high-visibility dining zones in the country. But here's a fact. F&B in Dubai is brutal. High rents, high staff turnover, zero mercy if your food or service slips. Yet mukbang shows consistently pulls strong ratings, loyal crowds, and social media buzz, all while juggling Korean BBQ, seafood spreads, fusion menus, and family-style dining. That range isn't accidental. It's designed to keep tables full from breakfast to late night. She's also known for mentoring Filipino staff and building stable career paths inside her restaurants, which in Dubai's hospitality scene is no small thing. No public numbers, of course, but multi-city expansion, flagship locations, and franchise interest point to a multi-million dirham business in motion. She went from earning 1,000 dirhams a month to running packed dining rooms across the UAE. That's not luck. That's timing, taste, and stubborn resilience. And now we head to our next story. A family that proves wealth isn't always measured in branches or balance sheets. Number 3. Christina Calaguian, Calaguian family. Before Christina Calaguian ever set foot in the UAE, she was already a licensed stockbroker and branch manager back in Philippinard, with over a decade of experience in finance. In other words, she knew money and understood markets. She could have chased the loud version of success. But instead, when she moved to Dubai in 2003, she did something unexpected. Christina founded Daga's HR consultancy and recruitment company, a licensed UAE firm focused on recruitment, career coaching, HR solutions, and something you don't see often in this market: purpose-driven employment programs, including pathways for people with disabilities. In a city obsessed with efficiency and profit margins, that choice alone made her stand out. Daga's operates in a tough space. HR consulting doesn't create overnight millionaires. Revenue is modest compared to real estate or construction. But influence? That's where Christina's wealth really sits. She's been recognized as one of the global FWN 100 most influential Filipinas globally, and she regularly speaks at empowerment events, cultural orientations, and leadership panels for Filipinos new to Dubai. What really sets her apart is the social layer. Through Daga's, she's helped students fund their education through work placements, supported job seekers from vulnerable backgrounds, and actively champions inclusion for people with disabilities in the UAE workforce. She also serves as president of the Ateneo Leadership and Social Entrepreneurship Alumni Association, UAE, tying education, leadership, and community into one ecosystem. Christina redefined what making it in Dubai can look like. And honestly, that contrast makes the rest of the list hit even harder. Number 2. The Monjardin family, Asia Vangi Monjardin. Some people arrived in Dubai when it was already shiny. Vangi Monjardin arrived when it was still figuring itself out. Back in the 1990s, when most expats were just trying to survive the heat and the paperwork, she was already laying the foundation for what would become a serious design and contracting powerhouse. Vangi is a Filipina architect by training, but calling her just an architect really undersells the story. In 2000, she founded Multi-Line Design and Contracting LLC, and over the years quietly turned it into one of those firms that insiders recognize immediately. If you've ever walked into a supermarket, a retail space, an office, or a restaurant in Dubai and thought, "This just works," there's a decent chance a company like hers was behind it. Multi-Line operates out of Al Quoz, employs somewhere between 100 and 200 professionals, and handles everything from interior design consultancy to full design and build projects, including MEP works and joinery. And these aren't small-ticket jobs. Fit-outs in places like Dubai Marina, downtown, or major commercial hubs can easily climb into the 6 or 7 figures per project, especially when hospitality or corporate clients are involved. On top of all that, she's deeply embedded in the Filipino business ecosystem. She served as Secretary General of the Philippine Business Council before being elected chairwoman for the 2025 to 2027 term, making her one of the most influential Filipino business leaders in the UAE today. She also mentors young designers and entrepreneurs, quietly backing ideas long before they look safe, But as impressive as that sounds, we now move to the #1 spot of our list, where the crown jewel of Filipino wealth in Dubai awaits. This is a family everyone's heard about, with a few secrets most people haven't. Number 1, the Plotado family, Aquino Plotado. Alright, up until now, we've talked about businesses, portfolios, influence, and steady wealth building. With Aquino Plotado, we're suddenly talking about a different unit of measurement altogether. Not branches, not contracts, and not properties. Projects that are measured in billions. Aquino Plotado isn't famous in Dubai the way celebrities are, and that's actually part of the story. He's a real estate professional who built his reputation deal by deal, quietly stacking credibility in one of the most aggressive property markets on the planet. And then came the moment that permanently separated him from almost everyone else on this list. A real estate project valued at around 1 billion dirhams, facilitated through a strategic collaboration with FM Properties on Monjardin Island in Ras Al Khaimah. Now here's why that matters more than it sounds. In Dubai, real estate brokers are everywhere, thousands of them. Most never touch deals above 8 figures in their entire careers. Plotato had already proven himself before this. He closed a 25 million dirham penthouse deal at Dana Bay early on, consistently outperformed targets, and was recognized as a top sales agent at FAM Properties in late 2023. So this wasn't a lucky swing. It was momentum finally meeting scale. And once your name gets attached to a billion dirham project, everything changes. Developers stop seeing you as a broker and start seeing you as a gateway. Investors listen differently. Deals come to you half-formed, asking for structure instead of permission. Even without exaggerating commissions, the math gets serious very quickly. Ultra-high-value developments don't need flashy percentages to generate tens of millions of dirhams in brokerage revenue. And more importantly, they unlock something money alone can't buy: long-term positioning at the top end of the market. What's interesting about Plotato is that he didn't freeze at that level. He used the visibility to launch Aquino Plotado Real Estate International, focusing on premium brokerage across key UAE markets, while also building Aquino Plotado Film International, which has produced award-recognized work. Add in a philanthropy foundation supporting schools back home, and you start to see the full picture: business, creativity, and giving back feeding into one personal brand. So yes, one deal changed the trajectory, but everything after that compounded it. That's why the Plotato family sits at number 1. Not because the story sounds good, but because the scale is documented, the impact is real, and the numbers place them in a bracket that most people never even get close to touching. And these were the 10 richest Filipino families in Dubai. Which of these money moguls impressed you the most? Let us know in the comments, and for more such interesting peeks into the lives of rich, take a look at Global Status.